Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back again with another video. So today I'm going to be talking about my fantasy football rankings for the 2020 season. My players that are ranked number 11 through 20. This list is subject to change. Hopefully you guys saw my last video. It was my top 10 players. I'm going to be doing a series of videos. It's probably going to be my top 150 players overall. Let's get right into it. At number 11, I have Nick Chubb. At number 9, running back overall. So the Browns did sign some offensive line pieces. They did get Jack Conklin. They drafted, in the first round, they drafted Jedrick Wills from Alabama. And they also signed fullback Andy Janovich. Kevin Stefanski is a new head coach in Cleveland. Stefanski used the fullback a lot in Minnesota. He used C.J. Ham a lot as fullback. And then obviously he had a lot of success with Dalvin Cook at running back. I believe that the Browns are going to use the fullback more. They're going to use Andy Janovich to block a lot for Nick Chubb to make even bigger holes for Chubb. Chubb did rush for over 1,400 yards last season and 8 touchdowns. And this was under head coach Freddie Kitchens, who was a really bad play caller in the red zone especially. So I do expect Nick Chubb to have more touchdowns this upcoming season. The downside for Nick Chubb is that Kareem Hunt is still in the backfield, and he does take a lot of the passing work. If Kareem Hunt wasn't there, I would rank Chubb a little bit higher. So it's going to be Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb I do expect him to play over 60% of the snaps. You guys know how high I am on Nick Chubb if you watch my bold predictions video for the 2020 fantasy football season. One of my bold predictions was that he's going to finish the top 5 running back this season. Another factor that's going to help Nick Chubb is that the Browns do have one of the easiest schedules according to win totals. This should help the Browns be ahead in a lot of games, which is just going to increase Nick Chubb's workload and an increase in his rushing attempts. So I do have a positive outlook for the Cleveland Browns next season as well. At number 12, I have Tyreek Hill. He's my number 3 receiver overall. He's playing obviously on the most explosive offense in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill is the fastest player in the league, and he's playing with Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill had over 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns in 2018. Last season, in 2019, it was a down year because he did have some injuries. He still produced 800 yards and 7 touchdowns, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. I do expect Tyreek Hill to bounce back from last season. I could project him for another 1,400 yards and double-digit touchdowns. His injury last year was a sternoclavicular injury, which isn't as bad for the way he plays. He's a speedster, so if it was any kind of leg injury like an ACL or a hamstring, then I would have to bump him down. But since it was an upper body injury, there's not really much to worry about. He's going to come back and he's going to play great. At number 13, I have Kenyon Drake. He's my 10th running back overall. So obviously last year he was traded away from the Dolphins. Adam Gase, the past few seasons when he was head coaching for the Dolphins, obviously now Gase is with the Jets. He was just holding back a lot of players. As you could see, when he finally got away from Adam Gase and the Dolphins, he started to break out. The last 5 weeks of the 2019 season, Kenyon Drake was the RB3. As you can see, he had games where he had 166 yards and 137 yards. So he had a lot more success when he got accustomed to the Cardinals playbook and the way that Cliff Kingsbury calls plays. And this was with an offensive line that wasn't that great. The offense will be much more improved with the addition of wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, and obviously they also drafted offensive tackle Josh Jones. Towards the end of last season, Kenyon Drake's snap count percentage was going up a lot. He had games where he had 80%, 65%, 75%, 81%, and also 95%, playing pretty much almost every down. I expect him to utilize him a similar way this upcoming season. They were committed to feeding him. Chase Edmonds is still in the backfield, and they drafted Eno Benjamin in the 7th round. I don't really expect Eno Benjamin to play much. Chase Edmonds might get a few of the carries. The main guy is going to be Kenyon Drake in this backfield. Number 14, I have Josh Jacobs. He's my number 11 running back overall. The Raiders did add first-round pick Henry Ruggs. He ran a 4.27 40-yard dash during the combine. I do think this is going to help Jacobs a lot. Jacobs is not going to face as many stacked boxes. There's going to be more space for Jacobs to run through. The Raiders coaches have said that they're going to involve Jacobs more in the pass game, which I'm not sure how true it is because the Raiders did sign Devontae Booker, who's mainly a receiving back. They also did draft Lynn Bowden Jr. Jacobs might play a few more pass downs, but he's not going to get that involved. If he did get more involved, he would easily be a top 7 back, maybe a top 5 back. Last year, Josh Jacobs did suffer some shoulder injuries, and he missed 3 games, but he still rushed for over 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns in his rookie season, which is really impressive. So if he didn't miss those games, he easily would have rushed for over 1,300 yards and maybe 9 touchdowns. I do expect Josh Jacobs to be even better this upcoming season. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to have a great year. Number 15, I have Julio Jones. He's my number 4 wide receiver overall. He has finished as a top 5 receiver in 4 of the last 5 seasons. In 2017, he finished 6th. There's going to be a lot of available targets now with the loss of Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper had 88 targets in 2018 and like 97 targets in 2019. They did add tight end Hayden Hurst. I don't think Hayden Hurst is going to get close to the amount of targets that Austin Hooper had. So there's going to be a lot of targets available to go Julio Jones' way and Calvin Ridley's way. If you look at the Falcons' schedule, They look like they're going to be in a lot of competitive games. Looks like it's going to be a lot of high-scoring games. There is also going to be higher-scoring games within the division. Julio did turn 31 in February, so age could come to cause a decrease in his productivity. That's why I'm really liking Calvin Ridley this year, but I also think Julio is a great pick in the second round. Number 16, I have Travis Kelce. He's my number 1 tight end overall. He's really close to George Kittle. I think George Kittle could be the number 1 tight end overall. There's a lot of touchdown regression that's going to happen for George Kittle, so George Kittle might take that number 1 spot. Travis Kelce, though, has finished as tight end 1 his last 4 seasons. He had over 1K yards his last 4 seasons as well, and obviously he plays with Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, so he's going to just continue that production. He's pretty much a plug-and-play in season-long in pretty much every format. The Chiefs did add running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the draft, who's probably going to take some of the touchdowns away from Travis Kelce. There's a lot of tight ends I like to take late in drafts, such as Tyler Higbee, Mike Gesicki, Jared Cook, Noah Fant, Dallas Goedert, Blake Jarwin. So I don't really think Travis Kelce is worth a first-round pick, but he is worth a second-round pick. Number 18, I have Travis Kelce's teammate, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's my number 12 running back overall. He was the Chiefs' first-round pick, so I think that the Chiefs are going to want to get him involved quickly. He had a massive breakout season at LSU in 2019. He had over 1,400 yards. He was a great receiving back. He will split snaps with Damian Williams in the beginning of the season, but I think later on, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to become the 3-down back. And once he becomes a 3-down back, he's going to be easily a top 7 running back overall. Damian Williams has had a lot of injuries over the years, and they signed him to a small contract. So after this year, they're pretty much going to get rid of him. It's going to be the Clyde Edwards-Helaire show. They still will use Damian Williams this year, but I do expect Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be playing more and more over the course of the season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has got comparison to Brian Westbrook, who was coached by Andy Reid in Philadelphia. That's why Andy Reid really wanted to pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And he also got comparisons to Maurice Jones-Drew. They're similar stature. They're not that fast, but they're great receiving backs and just great running backs overall. Number 17, I have Aaron Jones. I have Aaron Jones behind Clyde Edwards-Helaire just because Packers did add running back A.J. Dillon in the draft in the second round. I do think A.J. Dillon's going to take a lot of the red zone carries. He's going to steal some of the touchdowns away from Aaron Jones. I have Aaron Jones as my number 13 running back overall. The Packers are a run-heavy team with head coach Matt LaFleur coaching them. And Aaron Jones did finish second in running back fantasy points in 2019 with 314 fantasy points. But Aaron Jones had 16 touchdowns in 2019, and I do expect that to go down. A.J. Dillon will take some of those touchdowns away just because he was such an early draft pick. Aaron Jones will be a free agent in 2021, so I do expect Aaron Jones to have extra motivation to ball out this upcoming season so he gets paid in 2021. And I do expect Aaron Jones to play more in the receiving game because they lost tight end Jimmy Graham. They also lost Geronimo Allison. They didn't really add any receivers. They only added Devin Funchess to a small contract, so Aaron Jones should play more third downs. Jamal Williams is still there, though. He's also going to take some of the passing work. That's why I have Aaron Jones, my number 13 running back overall. So at number 19, I have DeAndre Hopkins. He's my number 5 wide receiver overall. He's been a top 5 receiver in fantasy points the last 3 years. He has missed 2 games in his 7-year career, which is amazing as a receiver. To only miss 2 games over 7 years is unheard of. I do have DeAndre Hopkins over guys like Chris Godwin and Kenny Golladay just because he's so talented and he's a top 5 receiver in the league. I do believe that the Cardinals will find ways to get DeAndre Hopkins the ball. DeAndre Hopkins will be the main receiver on the Cardinals, and I do think Cliff Kingsbury will find ways to get Hopkins the ball. DeAndre Hopkins obviously got traded this offseason, so he's going to need to establish a connection with Kyler. That's why I don't have him higher on my board. But I do think over the course of the season, they're going to establish a better connection. At number 20, I have Austin Eckler. He's my number 14 running back overall. Austin Eckler finished 4th in running back fantasy points in 2019. This was even when Melvin Gordon was there, which is really impressive. I would have him higher on my board if Phillip Rivers was still there. They obviously did lose Melvin Gordon in free agency this offseason, but I do think with Tyrod Taylor as their quarterback, there's not going to be as many checkdowns going Eckler's way. Tyrod Taylor will take some of the rushing yards away, maybe a few of the rushing touchdowns away, and the Chargers have said that they want to use a running back by committee with Justin Jackson and Joshua Kelly. Austin Eckler is an elite pass-catching back, and he's capable of 2K scrimmage yards season if he was to play over 65% of the snaps. Also, if you had a quarterback like Phillip Rivers to just catch more checkdowns. Austin Eckler did get paid this offseason, and so they might not want to use him as much because they did give him a decent-sized contract. That's my list for my number 11 through 20 fantasy players for the 2020 season. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content. Comment down below what players I should have added to the list and removed from the list, and I'll see you guys next time.